Life is precious, and we all have the opportunity of living it to the fullest. Unfortunately, so few of us know how to manage it all. How do we account for our opportunities? How do we account for our time? How do we account for our relationships, health, spirituality, homes, finances, influence, and careers? How do we account for the one life we have to live? I am so glad you asked. In this program, you will find answers to all of these questions and more. Welcome to the Account for Your Life podcast with your host, the healthy accountant himself, Jay Moore.
What's happening, everybody? I want to welcome you back to another episode of the Account for Your Life podcast. Jay Moore here, the healthy accountant, helping you to account for your life. And today, here's what we're talking about: passion versus purpose. What next? When purpose and passion come face to face. This is, man, we're going to talk about this today. I'm going to share some things that I've actually discovered on the path and how I've been pretty much starting that purpose-driven life. So, guys, I want to thank you for joining me. Excuse me. Just had a little hiccup here. So I want to thank you for joining me today. And I'm going to tell you what I'm super excited about today. I'm super excited that the time finally went backwards. Oh my goodness. Like, I've been like Eastern. I don't like daylight. Well, I like daylight savings times, but I like it. I don't know. I think I like this time zone better. Eastern Standard Time, the standard hours, meaning it's not manipulating me. so I'm able to wake up at the right times, right? Because I like when the sun comes up and it's still early. So wow, let's jump to this. Now, before we jump in, guys, if you're a purpose-driven entrepreneur or someone who's looking like to connect the dots between purpose and business, then I've got something coming up that's free that you can join, that you can actually spend some time with us so that you can connect the dots. And here's what else you get in there. You not only connect the dots, but you're going to save some money. Meaning you're going to discover the secret that the IRS knows about your business that's pretty much costing you coveted. I'm talking about coveted tax savings, and it's probably even costing you sales because you're not doing this one thing. And so what does that mean? You should join the Good Accounting Challenge, which is coming up next. It starts next Monday on the 14th. And I'd love for you to be it if you're purpose-driven. You're purpose-driven, you want to connect the dots. And you want to make sure you don't miss out on tax savings. You should join. All right, let's jump into this. So purpose and passion, when they meet, what happens, and what is this passion and purpose stuff all about? Look, I was never this way, right? So the only passion that I had was playing basketball. That was my passion. That was my first love. You know, I would play basketball before I did anything else, and we played basketball all the time. And that was the thing to do. I was always excited to get out there. But outside of that, there was no purpose. It's like, oh, you go to college, you go do these things. You're like, oh, it's time to work. And then it's just life, right? Can I get a witness? Like, who? Like, you just get into life. And so you hear about passion. But most of the time, if you had parents, more than likely they say, well, yeah, we understand you got the passion, but you should probably go get a job. Now, that was okay advice. but yeah, I'm saying, but what if that thing really is the thing you should have been focused on? So passion, a lot of times passion may not necessarily be the thing that will be everything in the journey, but the passion a lot of times leads you to the purpose. How do I know this? All right. So this is how I know it. A few years ago, I discovered a passion for something. And that passion is not necessarily my purpose, but the passion is what got me started. And I want you to think about the things that you're passionate about. And you may have multiple things, right? You should say, man, I've got 5 things I'm passionate about, Jay. Okay, cool. Now, I discovered a passion. And now, before I kind of get into that story, let's think about the purpose. Let's think about purpose, right? And several years ago, when I read that book, I'm sure you read the Purpose-Driven Life. You read that book by Rick Warren? Oh my goodness. That was the book where it was almost like that book was written for me, and I'm talking about it was something was pulling at me. I got to the end of the book and was upset that I was at the end of the book because I'm just like, well, what now? Because I didn't know what my purpose was. And because I didn't know what my purpose was, I was like, well, I mean, I don't even know what it is. So I guess I got to keep doing these things that I was doing. At the time I was I had my business, but I was, spending time in network marketing at the time and, doing those things. And I was like, I wasn't passionate about network marketing, to be honest. Like that did not drive me. Now, network marketing had a great element in it because it forces you into development, at least for those that want to get better. It forced me into development. So that was cool. I wasn't initially passionate about it, but I saw that it was a way to get better. So a lot of times when we have a passion or when we know that there's a purpose, we have to get better. We have to become more aware. You should write that down. We have to become more aware of who we actually are. Guys, this is one of the most important steps. Like, because if I don't really understand and not under the awareness of who I personally am, then really knowing who God created to be it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be almost impossible to figure out what God did when He did it to make me the way that I am, so that I can actually get to who He said I would be. So here's the thing. Let's go back to the story. And so here it is. I didn't have a passion. I didn't know my purpose. And then one day I started doing something. Like I'm going to go do it, this morning. I started doing something. It was exercise. Now, here's the thing about exercise. Because when I started doing it, like it was cool, right? But here's the thing. Most people, when they exercise, or like they have a goal, and what's the goal? A lot of times, man, I gotta lose some weight, and man, if I could just get down to this certain weight, then I'll be good to go. Usually, that's where people stop, and that's where I stopped. And then I noticed something. I said, "Wow!" I said, "So you could fall back, right?" So when I fell back a couple of times, I think I fell back a couple of times. Like, man, I gained that weight back again. I got to start over again. And I'm sorry, starting over is usually the hardest part. Can I get a witness? Starting over is usually the hardest part. And when you have to start over, it's painful. Like I remember starting over from running. Like I would run and I was like, oh my goodness. And I stopped doing it. Then I come back. Oh my body. I said, and so recently I said, you know what? That's never going to happen to me again. I'm going to make sure that I lift weights and I'm going to run outside all the time. So I split it up. I used to go to the gym every day, 6 days a week. I decided gym 3 days, 3 days running outside, even in the wintertime. 3 days running outside. Now, because I've done that before. 3 days running outside, 3 days going to the gym. That way, I never actually lose ground on my running because I didn't see the treadmill. I don't really like the treadmill. I don't really like. I much rather run outside. I don't like the treadmill. So when I do go to the gym, I use the elliptical now because what I love about the elliptical is the elliptical helps me to focus on my lower half of my body, which is my glutes and my quads and all. And so I've gained a lot of strength from that. So, but here's the thing: when did it become a passion? It was, listen, health and working out and those things didn't become a passion until I realized the trick. I realized that you never make a goal that ends. Write this down. You should never make a goal that actually ends because when you make a goal that ends, what do you do next? So you have to have a moving target, meaning even if you have a goal that ends, then that means that once it ends, you should already have something set up to go to the next phase. Because once it ends, most people's minds check out. And they say, you know what, I guess I can take some time off. When you can't take time off, you actually, everything that you do, you have to always do it. You can ask anybody that's really successful. They don't stop doing the things that they do. They just do them all the time. And it's like, well, really? Yeah, like a basketball player has to make a layup in practice every day. Every time they go to practice, they're practicing layups. Why? Because It's just the basics. They're practicing free throws. It's just the basics. They're running up and down, the court. It's just the basics. They're making the same moves over and over. It's the basics. So here's the thing. When we're passionate about something, we never stop it. But what comes after that is interesting, because even though I thought that health, I said, well, health, working out, yeah, those things I'm passionate about. But then I discovered something along the way. What did I discover? It was almost like passion caught up with who I really am. Write this down. Your passion will catch up to who you are. And so when they meet, when passion and purpose meet, they look at each other and they say, oh my, what? They say, oh, wow, good. Oh my, wow, let's come together. This is going to be off the chain. And it just literally, when it comes together, it's like, whoa. So we now work together. Yeah, see, that's the thing. When it comes together, oh my goodness, when it comes together, guys, it's outstanding. You may say to me, you said, Jay, so you're passionate about health. I'm passionate about health. Now, here's the thing about health. I'm still evolving there. I'm still evolving. Like, I was just thinking about it this morning. Some things I need to change. Like, dude, it's like there's so many things, and there's so many facets to your physical health that, yep, you just have to develop a process, develop a system. And I'm still working on that. But then the health part, then I had to start looking at so many other things. I'm going to tell you, the one thing that I really had to start looking at was like my finances. Ooh, unhealthy, sick. I was unhealthy. I'm still getting nursed back to health in my finances. Business. I'm still getting nursed back to health in my business, because here's the thing. We start our businesses, purpose-driven business owners. Now, I wasn't purpose-driven when I started. So I can't even speak to that guy. Like, I'm not even going back to that guy. But right now, this is where we are. So we can help. We can help people right now seeking this. So there's a group of you guys that's seeking purpose, that's seeking how to connect the dots. And so the thing about purpose-driven business owners, a lot of times they get confused. Can I get a witness here? I've been confused. I'm sure you have been confused. If you are purpose-driven, you're like, oh my goodness, I'm confused. Oh, I want to do this, and how do I bring it together? So that's where the process comes in. There's a process. There's many processes. So at the end of the day, there's no one process for anything. Write this down. Like, you can say this many times. There's no one process for anything. And when I share frameworks, like in my challenge and anything that I'm doing, that's not the only thing. You can always find something else that works. Now, here's the thing. If you don't have anything, sometimes it's really good to just use what somebody else has. Say, oh my goodness, that's how I can initially connect the dots. And then what happens is you create your own. Like, I've gone through so many frameworks that what happens is at some point you create your own, because that's how it works. That's how your purpose-driven life, your purpose-driven business will show up. And all of us, you say, wow, I have my own thing now. I've got my own thing now. So because I have my own thing, then I just, hey, purpose-driven business owner, purpose-driven person, you want to grow your life. Look at this process that you can go into. Look at this process that I've gone into, right? Because at the end of the day, I can't tell anything. I can't share anything with you that I haven't done. I can't share anything with you that has no value. Like, I'm like, yo, this is what helped me. This is what helped me to go from, not having passion, not understanding and knowing my purpose, to having a passion and knowing purpose, and then meeting them and bringing them together. That's what this process is. And for me, it's taken me, whew. All right. Imagine if you can skip 10 years. It's taken me 10 years to get here. 10 years. It's taken me 10 years. Like, because From the time I started moving in January of 2002, January of 2012, it's now 2022. It took me 10 years. God didn't even reveal the process to me until January of 2022. But here's the thing. He revealed the process, but didn't tell me how it worked. So it then took me an additional 10 months. This is how God works, guys. I'm being honest. It took me an additional 10 months of going through stuff to then get to the transformation moment where I'm like, oh, I see it finally. He says, that's what I've been preparing you for, son. That's what I've been preparing you. So what is God preparing you for? What is God preparing you for? What is God preparing you for? What purpose did God say about your life before your life started? What was the purpose? What is the passion that you currently have? What's the passion that you currently have that you know, like you already know you have it, but you're not quite sure why you were created? There's a process. Join the Good Accounting Challenge. The Good Accounting Challenge is to help you, people like you, business owners who are purpose-driven or know that there is purpose and would love to be able to connect the dots and to be able to get something specifically for their business. One, make sure you don't make the mistake that, most business owners make when they kind of like give up $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 in 1 year to the IRS for taxes. We're just throwing that in because that's a part of our skill set. We're throwing that in, and we're going to lead you to a place in your life where you can actually become more. Your business will grow, your life will grow, and you will know exactly how to connect the dots with your passion and your purpose, your business, and everything else that comes out of that. So join us for the Good Accounting Challenge that's coming up starting November the 14th next week. That's next Monday. So be sure to register for this challenge. It's a free challenge so that you could join and you don't actually have to pay. Wow, that's awesome and incredible, right? Because a lot of times that can cost money. If we were working together in a coaching environment, right, and I spent an hour or 2 hours with you every single day, then you're talking thousands of dollars that you would have to pay for that. So you don't have to pay for that. You just pay zero money. That's it. Zero money. How's zero money sound? Join the Good Accounting Challenge, and I look forward to seeing you there. Guys, I thank you so much for joining me for this episode of the Account for Life podcast. I'm Jay Moore, the Healthy Accountant, helping you to account for your life. God bless, and I'll see you on the next episode. Peace.
Thanks for joining us, listening friends. We are so glad you invested this time with us. Always remember, you only have one life to live, so live it to the fullest. This has been the Account for Your Life podcast with your host, the healthy accountant himself, Jay Moore. Until next time, make it a great day.